All right, Tim Babineau, first question for you, just for the average, someone listening to us, they might be a patient, they might be a nurse, they might just be someone who cares about Rhode Island's hospitals. How nervous should they be about your news today, and what should they take away from
Sure, Ted, thank you. Obviously, first and foremost, the main crisis is still the medical crisis and the healthcare crisis, and that is primarily what we're focused on, taking the best possible care of patients we can during this crisis. That is priority number one. However, based on the financial performance we reported for March, we have an added crisis, if you will, which is the financial challenges Lifespan and other healthcare systems are facing. In the month of March, we reported nearly a $33 million net loss from operations, of which approximately 23 million were directly attributed to the COVID crisis. We lost that entire amount of money in all of last year, which was one of our worst years ever as a healthcare system. And we lost that same amount in the month of March. We anticipate April and May will be equally challenged. That's why the federal stimulus dollars, the state relief is so very important to us if we are to get through this crisis and come out on the other end and still be here when our patients need us.
People are you're our largest employer in Rhode Island. People are gonna instantly say, is he gonna have to lay people off? What's your message on that right now?
Yeah, from the very outset, we made a very conscious decision to try to keep as many people as possible employed at Lifespan for a couple of reasons. One, we think it's the right thing to do if we can. Number two, we believe we're going to need the folks that aren't necessarily busy right now to come back to work, hopefully fairly soon. We have a little more than 1,000 people out on furlough. Most of those are on voluntary furlough, though not all. Some are on involuntary furlough. Remember, we have 15,000 employees, so that's 1,000 of our 15,000 employees. We have not laid anyone off, and as I sit here today, we don't have any intention of laying anyone off. It is our hope and desire and belief that we're going to need that workforce back in earnest, hopefully shortly, Ted, hopefully shortly.
You yourself stopped taking a salary as of April 1st, a major step. Why did you feel that was important?
You know, we're all in this together, Ted. I'm blessed to have a great job, and I just thought it was the right thing to do to send a signal to not only my executive team, but the whole team at Lifespan. I'm in this with you. I'm in this with you, and it was a very small effort on my part to do that.
And one last question, Tim, which is just back to COVID and the actual health crisis we're also having right now. Can you just give a window into how does it look on the ground in the hospitals right now, and what are your thoughts about how the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks are going to look?
Yeah, again, I give the governor and the Department of Health a lot of credit. The state of Rhode Island got out in front of this, I think, better than most states. And as a result, again, as I sit here today, April 22nd, 2020, we're in pretty good shape. We're in pretty good shape. Our numbers seem to be flattening. We are not overwhelmed. Roughly speaking, we've been hovering around 200 inpatients a day for the last few days, around 40 to 45 ICU patients, around 30 to 35 ventilated patients. Remember, we have almost 1,100 beds system-wide. We have over 200 ICU beds system-wide. We have close to 250 ventilators system-wide. So right now, we're able to manage the demand. I guess the one message I would have for your viewers is we're still open for business as usual for all the other things. And there's been this sort of inexplicable decline in things like heart attacks and strokes, things you would think people would still be coming in the emergency room for. And for reasons that aren't entirely clear, probably they're afraid to come, they're not. So a real important message I would have for your viewers is if you have something that in the past you would have ordinarily come to one of our emergency rooms, the Rhode Island or the Mirror, you have chest pain, you think you're having a stroke, you fell down the stairs, please come. We're still open for that type of care. And we have segregation in the emergency room. You will not be commingled with COVID patients. We have separate parts of the emergency room where you'll be cared for. So please, if you have a medical problem, don't be afraid to come to the hospital. We're here, we're open, and we'll take care of you.